So welcome back. We're going to talk about the Garmin Approach R50 again. The Garmin Approach R50 tracks everything from ball data to club data. Today we're going to talk about what these things mean so you can use that data to improve your game and improve your scores. Firstly, we're going to use the Garmin Approach R50. Again, this is Garmin's newest model. We're going to set it up for a range session. Basically, all you have to do is set it up, use target alignment, get that set up, and get it put onto the screen right here. So I've got the range already up. One little trick, if you have a laser, let's say you do construction or you have something, or you have a laser at home, set that up behind you to get a straight line from that. Set 2 golf balls on there. Makes it easier to line things up. So one little tip there. Today we're going to use the range here, just the flat range. We're going to go ahead and hit some numbers, and I'm going to kind of show you what those numbers mean and kind of give you an idea, not only if you have a Garmin Approach R50, but just to understand numbers in general, to kind of give you an idea what numbers mean when you get them on an advanced launch monitor like this Garmin Approach R50. So let's give you kind of a breakdown of the things that a launch monitor can collect. So it's got your standard stuff. So it's got carry distance, it's got total distance, it's got smash factor, carry deviations, ball speed, backspin. You could pretty much break this down to anything. And I could put different metrics up here. So I can go smash factor, and smash factor ends up on the screen. So we're going to kind of talk about some of the main stuff. So ball data is pretty much going to show what happens after impact. Club data is going to show what caused it. So we're going to kind of break down what those things mean in retrospect to that. This thing collects a lot of data. So I think sometimes if you get a launch monitor, you're kind of overwhelmed with understanding what these things mean, but I can help you understand what these mean and why something happens to be able to fix it, or just understand the whys on some of this information that you have on a launch monitor. So I'm going to hit one for you. I've got an 8-iron. I've got the stickers. If you want to make sure you have the club data, you want the stickers on your club face, about middle, a little bit down. That's where I put them. So I'm just going to hit one. You can see how fast the numbers come up, and then you can end up having an understanding why the shots do what they do. So I'm just going to hit an 8-iron here quick. All right, so I'm going to show you on the screen first, but I'll also show you on the screen on the R52. So right here we've got carry distance, we got total distance, we got carry deviation, we got smash factor, ball speed, backspin. I can pretty much divide those up. I can put whatever metrics I have on here. These are just some things that I like to look at, and some things that I change every week just to kind of get a different understanding on some numbers. So carry distance obviously is the distance that it traveled to. Basically, if I drop this ball and I'm trying to launch it here, wherever it hits, that's what I'm measuring. Not the total rollout, but where it just hits. Total distance is the carry plus the rollout. Carry deviation obviously is the center line right here and how far it goes left or right of that center line. Smash factor, ball speed. So ball speed is the speed of the ball leaving the club face. Ball speed helps determine your potential distance that you can get on a shot. Say I hit a really good one with great ball speed, it's probably going to go further than a ball that I hit with bad ball speed. So what I'll do here quick is you'll have the numbers right here. We got 113, 157-ish total. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hit one really slow with an 8-iron, but try to strike it well. So 88 ball speed, you got 122. So still struck well. So you have less ball speed, less distance. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit one kind of fast and see what happens. So 116. So now we got 116 ball speed, 160 total distance, 154 carry. So as you can tell there, the increase in speed increases the maximum of potential that you can get for your yardages on your clubs. Well, I went ahead and added launch angle to this equation as well. Basically, launch angle is the angle the ball takes off on. Mine is high compared to like a PGA Tour average, and it's high just in general. That's just the way my body and I hit. I've always had a high launch angle. I'm able to sometimes get it with lower spin to kind of bring the ball back down, but I do get a lot of distance out of it because it's not an optimal launch angle, but it's given me the ability to at least get a ball up there, and with other conditions I'm able to at least get the distance out of it. It can affect, your launch angle can affect carry distance and trajectory. So obviously, sometimes you want the ball to be at a lower launch angle if you're hitting in the wind, you're trying to hit punch shots, you're trying to hit something. If you have, so we'll get to backspin, I got backspin here. But if you have a low launch angle, you're gonna want backspin to kind of keep the ball up. If you have a high launch angle, you're gonna generally want less backspin to kind of keep the ball at a good trajectory. So you're not just hitting it way up in the air, it's just gonna not go anywhere. Launch angle is good for wind, so you understand how to hit shots in the wind, and backspin. So these two kind of can go together, so you understand some of those. I'll show a launch angle that's good. I mean, at least for me, 18 is what PGA Tour average is. Mine's obviously 6 degrees above that. I'm going to try to hit one that's really high, so you can see a high launch angle and a low launch angle, which for me, a low launch angle is probably going to be people standard shots. But that way you can understand how these numbers all get affected when you manipulate the club face and you manipulate things to hit a lower shot. So a little bit down. All right, so this one had a 22.5 degree launch angle. Launch angle can obviously affect your total distance. So now that my normal, obviously, like I said, I hit it higher. So when I hit lower, obviously the distance is gonna go lower. So the 7,900 spin right here is what I got for backspin. It's good to keep the ball up in the air, but you have to understand sometimes too, you're gonna affect rollout and you're not gonna get the ball to roll back as much as you'd like. It's okay for an 8-iron. Usually, typically what you want, so I have an 8-iron right here. Add 500, that's the maximum spin you want to be able to give you a range. 8,000 to 8,500 is probably a good spin rate. So this is about where you'd want it for me. Since I do hit it high, I don't want too much spin because it's gonna stay up in the air. So this is actually a good number for me to hit so I don't hit it way up in the air. But if you have a ball that's high, you don't want it to be too high so it's not ballooning up in the air. So for me, 22.5 is good. Now we're gonna hit a high shot. Try to really crank this one up. So 28 degrees right there is that. So we got 28 degrees right here, 28.8 degrees launch angle, 6,800 spin. So again, it's a good pairing to be able to have. When you have a high launch, you want low spin because you don't want the ball to just balloon up there. And that's why sometimes you want to look at your backspin with the launch angle to kind of compare them together and understand why you're getting the shots you're getting. All right, so now let's go into spin rate. So obviously, like I was talking, backspin right here, 6,800 is what I've got in the last shot, the one I was trying to hit high. Basically, backspin is the ball's rotational speed after impact. High spin can basically help you enhance control, while low spin helps maximize distance. But everybody pretty much knows what backspin is. Now, it can be paired with dynamic loft and all those things. Now, spin rate is also impacted by how the club was delivered into the ball. A de-lofted club is going to have less spin than a club face that's maybe slightly open or a more lofted club. Higher lofted club increases spin. So if you de-loft the club, it's going to produce less spin. If you have a higher lofted club, it's going to produce more spin, which is why, like I said, 8-iron, 8,500 is the maximum spin. 9-iron is a 9,500 maximum spin. You can kind of gauge that. Everything, like I said, is subjective, but carry distance is essential for club selection. It just helps you understand what this number means more than the total distance. The total distance is good to know, but this really helps you understand how far you actually hit because there's so many variables that can affect total distance. So one cool thing about the R50 is I can mirror the screen right here and I can split in half. So I got all the club stuff here, but I also still have my numbers on the right-hand side. It's a nice marriage for me because then I can see these numbers and correlate it with those numbers, kind of get an understanding of what I'm doing. Obviously on the R50, when you go on the range, you want to select your clubs, the 8-iron right here, that's what I'm hitting. You want to make sure you have the dot. You want to make sure you have the dot on your club. But now we're going to go through what these mean. These to me are a little bit more important than some of the traditional stuff because these explain a lot more of the whys of what happens. So if you're getting these numbers, okay, it's cool to see these. You can understand with those, but why are you getting that number? Why are you getting that number? Why are you getting that number? These kind of help explain the why on those. So I'm a very big why guy because then I can kind of understand from a logical standpoint why things are happening. So I'll kind of go through and explain the whys on these and kind of give you why you get numbers like those. So on the R50, like I said, I can mirror it, split it, and you don't have to have this. You can have it straight on the device. Like I said, it has a great display on there. nice and bright, vibrant, so you can bring this to the range. So let's say you don't have a projector, you can still do this stuff at the range with just the unit itself. It's all built in together. You got the range, the screen, everything easy to bring to the range. I'm just gonna go ahead and explain all of these club stuff. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna hit a normal shot so I can get normal numbers under here. It's not these random, try to manipulate shots. So I'm gonna try to hit just a normal standard shot and hit the best I can just so you can get numbers like that. All right, so we can work with those numbers. We've got here, so what I'll do right here, so club path. Your club path is basically the direction the club head travels through impact. So it could be, let's say, club path, I'm gonna get a rod here. So let's say right here, we got the club. This is 0-0. This is an in to out swing right here. And then we got an out to in. So your out to in sometimes can cause the slices. Your in to outs can cause a lot of the draws or pull hooks. But you can also push stuff, and that's where I'll explain some of that stuff later. But just so you get an understanding, your club path, so mine right here was 2.4 right. So now when you're measuring stuff, most of the time your stuff is on the right and left. So your club stuff, so it's right and left. So if I'm a right-handed golfer, it's right and left. So you got left behind me, right in front of me. So when it says 2.4 degrees right, I'm slightly going in to out, which is sometimes my cause because I get really tight with my shoulders and I can't rotate as much. So as you can see here, that white line is the standard 0-0, just slightly in to out, as you can see here. So what that can do sometimes is cause a draw, and I'll see if I can pull that swing up. So what I'll do here is I'm gonna take and go to the map, and I guarantee it's a draw. And as you can see, it was a draw because it's in to out, and that can cause a draw swing. So sometimes, like I said, you can still have an in to out swing with an open club face, and it's gonna push right. So sometimes it doesn't mean just because you're going in to out, you're gonna have a draw swing. So that did get pushed a little bit more to the left than I wanted, but it did produce a right draw, but it did produce a draw swing. Like I said, it's very important because it determines sometimes your shot shape and draw, fade, everything like that. You can understand sometimes like that. You have to use a lot of numbers to pair it with something to understand something. So sometimes you can't just say, look at 2.2 right, well, I hit it right though. Sometimes you can't just take the number and you hit it right and you're like, well, I should hit a draw. Well, what other things caused it? You could have. But I like to use these two sometimes together to understand my shot. So sometimes my face, sometimes my club path is right, but my face is closed, or sometimes it's open. And these two help me pair and understand why the shots did what they did. I'll try to hit a in to out shot, so I have this club face positive still, but I try to get a club face angle that is negative to kind of produce a very big shut draw. So now you'll see here, 6.2 degrees to right and 2.2 to the left. So now it doesn't do negative, it's more right and left. But here's 0-0, club path is here, my club face is left. So what left means pretty much is, so basically your club path, let's put it simple this way. So let's say we have this, okay? This is the ground. This is right, so it's open, left, closed. So it's pretty easy to remember, left, close, right, open. So that can affect that. So let's say a club path that's right, but closed, you're going in like this, it's gonna produce, obviously, a left shot. But if you're coming in with right shot, and you're coming in here, out to in path, what is that gonna cause? A shot that's gonna spin this way. All right, so now we've got that. So I'm gonna pull up the map so you can see this is gonna be a fade. As you can see here, it did fade, and that correlates to what I'm seeing on the R50. Now I'm gonna put my path is where? Left. So this is the path. So this is standard 0-0, it's left. As you can see with the blue. Now what happens is my club's going in like this, so it's going left, but it's open, so it's going this way. So let's say this is 0-0 with the club face angle, it's open slightly this way. So it's going in like this. Let's say this is golf ball here, okay? This is 0, 0, this white line here, okay? If I'm gonna hit a draw, I want the closed club face, but my path to be this way on the cross here, right here. I want it to basically go, so instead of being on the right-hand side, you can see the blue, I want it to be here. So I'm gonna use this as my club path. It's right. If I want to hit a draw, I want it left of this. So if I want to hit a draw, this is 0, 0, my club face is gonna be here. What is here? This is in to out. So obviously it's inside of this to outside of this. So it's in to out. And what produces the draw is you have an in to out swing with a closed club face. And that's gonna produce the spin off the club this way. Let's say in this example how it's blue right here and it's out to in, we're gonna have a club face that's coming in like this, but it's open. And what does that produce? Spin this way to get a right shot. And so now let's do something where, let's try to hit draws, trying to hit fades. I'm just gonna try to push a shot. So I'm gonna go an out to in to out path. So it's in to out, and I'm gonna keep the club face open, and it should push right. 4.6 right, club face angle, 3.6 right. And I'm gonna show you right here on the screen. You're gonna see on the map, it should be a push right. And what is it? Is a push right. It starts right, stays right, ends up right there. And we've got decent distance. You can still get decent distance out of these, but things that start right, end right. And that explains kind of sometimes how those two compare together, and you can get the numbers. That's why it's sometimes nice for me how I can use these two numbers to understand why a shot does it. Never really understood that till I got an R50 because I never really looked at those numbers. But now that I've got them, use these two numbers to utilize on the golf course or utilize on a swing to be able to understand why things happen. Let's go through attack angle. So this was negative 3.3. This basically means it's like, okay, does the club face move up at impact or is it down on impact? So most of the time with the irons, you want it on a negative. So basically you're hitting down on the ball instead of up on the ball. Simplest way to explain that. I'll do a close up here to show you this. So let's say it's here. This is standard right here. Let's say the ball's right here. This is negative and this is positive. So negative, positive. And if you have a positive attack angle, you're hitting up on the ball, which can cause a lot of issues. You can have sometimes higher shots. You can have thin shots. That's where some of your thin shots can happen. You have a really negative attack angle. That's where you hit your fat shots. So I might try to hit one. So let's try to correlate what those, let's try to hit some of those shots you can see. We'll use these two together, kind of understand what I'm talking about. One positive, one negative. We'll look at the backspin. We'll also look at the carry distance as well. So I'm going to try to hit this up. So I'm basically going to move it really far left in my stance. I'm trying to see if we can just get this really far up. So that was a positive attack angle. So what does that do? 7,100 spin, 137 carry distance, and a launch angle that's high. All those things match up together. Now, if I do, so remember those two, 2.3, 7,100, okay? So now we got a negative attack angle, backspin's 7,500 right here, launch angle's 24.6. PGA Tour average, mind you, is about 18, so 6 degrees above, like I said before. So I don't want the amount of spin that they have on the PGA Tour because that just eliminates me from hitting a shot that I don't want it to float. So backspin, 7,500. Carry distance, total distance, not bad, not great either. Could have hit that better. But at least you understand backspin and attack angle do correlate together, and you do want sometimes a good attack angle. You do typically want negative. PGA Tour is, I think, 4.1 for an 8-iron. So you do want a negative. You don't want to be hitting up a ball. It's just going to produce so many problems that you don't want to deal with unless you're in a driver or some longer irons. It all depends on what shot you're hitting. You sometimes do want a positive attack angle. All right, now let's look at face the path, and this is a combination of two things. Face the path is a combination between club path and club face. So these are obviously both here. So if you're a math person, you're gonna understand, okay, if I take 1.6 right, that's positive, and I'm thinking, okay, 1.1 left's negative, then it should be 0.5. But where you're thinking, okay, if I'm right, my club path is right, and my face angle is left, where's the here? So it's almost like, to get from negative 1.1 to positive 1.6, what does that take? Positive 2.7 to get to a 2.7. That's why you have 2.7. Okay, let's put it this way. So if you take 1.1, you say, okay, and minus that, that's negative number, so that should be 0.5. Standard math, you're thinking, okay. But in real terms, what it actually is, okay, my club face is closed. My club face is closed, and my path is positive. What is that difference between this gap right here? 2.7. That's why I like looking at all these numbers, because it helps me understand the whys and how and where I can use this information on the golf course as well. One thing we haven't talked about yet is the smash factor 1.3. Basically what smash factor is the efficiency of energy transfer. So what that is let's go to, I think I've got everything on here. I might change that up to put head speed. These are the two things we're gonna look at. So here to here, smash factor is gonna be based off club speed and ball speed. Ball speed was 113.6, club head speed was 87.2, but PGA Tour average is 1.115, and ball speed is, our club head speed is 87. So pretty much there on both of them, but so now we can utilize that to kind of give you an idea of the smash factors. So how do you get the smash factor? It's basically gonna be your ball speed, because that's gonna be higher, divided by your club head speed right here. So it's gonna be ball speed 113. So I'm gonna show right here. I'm gonna go 113.6 divided by 87.2, and what does that get you? 1.30275. So that's how you calculate that and get the smash factor number right here. Higher smash factor indicates better energy transfer and efficiency, where a lower one indicates pretty bad energy efficiency. So you really do want to keep this around the 1.3. The good averages, you want it to be a higher number. You can max this out. There's only so much you can do with this. I want to say it's 1.5, but I could be wrong. I'll put it here. You can only max that out so much. Your optimal smash factor for a driver is 1.5. Now for irons, it's typically 1.2 to 1.45, depending on what club. A lower smash factor indicates off-center strikes, poor contact, improper angle of attack. So a lot of things can dictate why that number might change. I don't use it a whole lot. I mean, it gives me an idea, so I can, okay, I did strike that well. Now I can feel that, but I can also confirm it with using that number. I don't use it a whole lot, but it's just something I can have. And it's nice to have on a launch monitor, so I can check some things, and it's just gives me something new to look at and give me an idea of how effective my shots were. Another thing you could look at, never really talked about, was launch direction. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically the initial direction that the ball took off at impact. So this is the screen in the R50. Now I said I could divide this screen up, so what I'll do is I'll go here, split screen, and I can go here and go impact video, which I've explained earlier that you have. You see the shot, which is kind of cool. I like seeing it. You can basically see, okay, they hit low in the face, high in the face, you kind of get an idea. Or if you really chunked it or thinned it, you can see that too. We got the club stuff here that I explained up on this projector screen that you got an idea. Now you have the ability to change clubs. Here, I use my driver, I get my TSR4, I can push that, use my driver. Kind of helps correlate with the Garmin app as well. I can put my data fields here where I can get all my information, a lot of things on there. Explain most of it, at least the stuff you pretty much need to be able to successfully use a launch monitor. What's cool about the launch monitor here on the Garmin Approach R50, I can basically say, okay, this was a good shot, decent, because it wasn't great. And it saves it onto my logs. When I save this session, it goes to my app map. You can see the shot here. You also see it above view, kind of see your dispersion, so I can put this, and I have everything on here. So I have all the dispersion rates. If I hit this one really far left, right, I can kind of go through and click each one, see the metrics on them. So if that was a really bad shot, why did that happen? Could look at all those things again. Have everything down here as well, and I can basically go, okay, obviously that was a bad shot, and bad, save. Okay, now what we can do, and I'll show you here, is we are going to end session, but we're going to save it. So now that I save it, I can go on the Garmin approach, or the Garmin app, an idea of all my shots. So there you go. So you can see that once you see that really bad shot that I hit, that you looked at the numbers, and we can go through, let's go and 52 shots. We can go through the shot list here, and I can expand this, go through all the shots. So my average, it's my average total, average carry, max total, 52 shots that I took. You can go through all of them.
So one of the cool things about the R50 is you do have the ability to have all this stuff on here, but you also can hold this and it'll tell you exactly what this stuff means. So the carry distance, the estimated distance a shot travels in the air, assuming the ground is perfectly flat. That's what's cool about the R50. You don't know, you can press and hold. If you don't know, you can press and hold and have an understanding of what this stuff means.
All right, so there you have it. The Garmin Approach R50 is not just about numbers, about helping your game, understanding those numbers, and make improvements on the golf course. But it's all about understanding those numbers, be able to make that next step in your golf game, and utilizing the R50 in the best way that you can to be able to get better at your golf game. So with that, comment below which metric you think would help you the most, or what's one thing you'd love to learn about your swing on the R50. I'd love to hear from you, hear what metric you're looking to really dive into now after the video. And again, if you have the R50, I'd love to hear if you have the R50, comment that below, and what you like about it so far. If you found this video helpful, like this video, subscribe. I'm going to try to give out more videos about the R50, golf in general, like these videos, and kind of give you a better idea to help the community out in understanding things about golf, because this game's complicated. Let's make it easy and help everybody out. Again, thanks for watching. The numbers don't lie, so utilize the numbers the best you can to make the most out of this golf season. Thanks for watching.